Hello, friends, and welcome back. Guys, let me start with this because what's happening right now in Minnesota is bigger than the just one state. And it honestly, it should make every taxpayer in this country stop and pay attention. So, guys, federal authorities have launched what they are calling a massive all hands on deck operation. And this isn't some paperwork audit sitting in an office somewhere. We are talking about hundreds of federal agents on the ground going door to door, visiting daycare centers, healthcare facilities, non-profits, and organizations that have been taking taxpayer money for the years. And according to the officials, what they are finding doesn't look like small mistakes or accounting errors. It looks like organized, long running fraud. So, guys, now here is the part that really stands out to me. Tricia McLaughlin from the Department of Homeland Security went on Fox News with Jason Chaffetz and said that as agents show up, many of these places are suddenly trying to look legitimate. Cleanups are happening overnight, paperwork appearing out of nowhere, businesses claiming normal operations after years of irregular activity. That tells you something very important. Innocent organizations don't scramble like that. People who have nothing to hide don't suddenly start whitewashing the scene when investigators knock on the door. That kind of behavior already screams panic, and federal officials are saying it's exactly why the arrest and enforcement can't be delayed because evidence disappears fast when people think the game is up. Now, Jason Chaffet made a point that I think the media isn't focusing on nearly enough. So, guys, this didn't start yesterday. Reports of fraud in Minnesota tied to taxpayer funded programs go back almost a decade. That means multiple warning signs, multiple opportunities to step in, and years where nothing meaningful happened. Chaffet straight up said, yes, it's good the federal government is finally acting, but let's not pretend this problem just appeared. At some point, state leadership has to answer for why these programs were allowed to be abused for so long while the taxpayers kept writing checks. McLaughlin responded by framing the current operation as something different and frankly unprecedented. She described it as an all agency effort under Donald Trump, with Homeland Security investigations surging hundreds of officers into Minnesota, the Department of Health and Human Services freezing childcare funds, the Small Business Administration halting certain payments, the FBI involved, the Department of Justice involved, and even immigration related fraud investigations happening alongside financial ones through US citizenship and immigration services. So, guys, this isn't symbolic, this is coordinated pressure from every angle. And the results so far are not small. Mikloff said that more than 500 criminal illegal aliens have been already arrested off the streets of Minneapolis in recent operations. That number alone should reset the conversation because this isn't just about paperwork fraud, it's about the public safety, misuse of funds meant for the vulnerable people, and accountability for systems that were clearly exploited. Now, predictably, the media reaction has been exactly what you would expect. CNN and others have framed this investigation not as a fraud probe, but as some kind of targeted attack on the Somali community. And this is where the conversation really goes off the rails. Jason Jeffert pushed back hard, calling that framing race baiting, and I agree with him on the point. Fraud is fraud. Taxpayer money doesn't belong to any ethnicity, race, or group. If someone steals it, it should be investigated. Turning accountability into an identity issue only protects bad actors and distracts from the real victims here, which are the taxpayers and the people who actually needed those funds. So, guys, there is another angle here that deserves the attention, and that's the role of independent journalism. Chaffet gave credit to journalist Nick Shirley, who, whose reporting helped bring national attention to what was happening in Minnesota long before the major outlets took it seriously. And that should be uncomfortable for a lot of people in legacy media. Because if an independent journalist can uncover the red flags and document abuses, why did it take so long for the big players to do the same? Or were they just not interested? What's clear now is that this investigation is far from over. Federal officials say it's expanding, evidence is still being collected, and arrests and prosecutions are coming. McLaughlin made it very clear that anyone involved in the defrauding taxpayers should expect the consequences. and that the goal is to move fast enough that no more evidence gets hidden, destroyed, or quietly erased. So, when you zoom out, this isn't just a Minnesota story, this is a test case, a test of whether massive government programs can actually be policed, a test of whether accountability applies equality regardless of politics or media narratives, and a test of whether taxpayers finally get answers after years of warnings that went ignored. The real question now is this: will this level of enforcement becomes the standard going forward, or is it going to be another moment where action fades once the headlines move on? Because if this really is about accountability, then it can't stop here, guys. So, guys, that's it for today. Thank you so much for joining in today. If you like this breakdown, kindly give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for such amazing daily headlines. And I will see you guys in the next video.